What's up, everyone, and welcome to Football Weekly Week 4, where we are out here at 6 o'clock in the morning with no sunshine. I'm Joseph Sims.
And I'm Isaiah Wilson.
Now, Isaiah, you got a chance to go to the Park Crossing versus Eufaula game last night. How'd that one go?
That one was one to remember, man. Eufaula pits almost a shutout against the Park Crossing Thunderbirds, 33-7. I like to watch when I was down there. I got to see an amazing defense and even a more amazing offense as Eufaula's quarterback and wide receivers seem to be on one accord. It seemed like they were sharing the same brain.
So Park Crossing has QB Javice Langford, and we got to see him versus Carver. They really like to throw the ball. Was that not working for him?
Javice Langford did end up getting injured and sidelined for the second half of the game, forcing, Park Crossing to put in their backup, which really in a game like this is something you really didn't intend or plan on, because when he got out there, as if the defense wasn't already giving the Park Crossing Thunderbirds trouble, they gave him even more trouble. Having to deal with the second string quarterback. This is your first time out here. You really don't know what you're going to do. Defense was smothering them, shutting down their passes, blocking all their runs. It seemed like almost every time they got the ball, it was 3 and out.
I bet it was easy for that Eufaula defense to look at that Park Crossing Thunderbirds offense and say, man, T.D. Lewis, really good, backup quarterback, he's going to get the ball. We're going to put 8 men in the box, and we're going to stop that run.
Yes, they did. Now, going back to their offense, Eufaula's quarterback and wide receivers seem to be on one accord, as I just mentioned. Pitching them, throwing as many passes as they could. It seemed like they had a West Coast-style offense, and you don't see that a lot in today's game, especially in the South. We're usually run-based, relying on our offensive line, big offensive line. They did have a big offensive line, I can say that. Matched up against Park Crossing's defense. They were the more physical and bigger team. The wide receivers, especially in the corners, ran some good post routes, good deep routes, had stout route running, and that's what ultimately gave them the edge to score more points and put up 33 points in total.
So what we're seeing a lot this year in high school football is high-powered offense and good run-stopping defense. And a lot of that has been showing up in recruiting. And this is something I wanted to mention today during this show, is that Montgomery has become a really hot spot for recruiting for the 2020 season, 2021 season, 2022 season. And it all started with Henry Ruggs back, when he was coming out of high school, out of Lee High School, a big 5-star recruit for Alabama. Alabama's going back to dip into Lee with Anquan Barnes, another Alabama commit. Then you got people like T.J. Dudley, who's got offers from everybody, Clemson, Alabama, and Oregon, just Florida State. He mentioned his top 6 a while back, and, of course, those are all big schools. And it's really been showing up that Montgomery, Alabama, has been a hot spot, and I think it's because of all these big offenses like Pike Road, like Lee with Reggie Davis, and especially like Catholic.
Oh, yeah. Alabama in general has really been the hotspot of, Southern football. Everybody's thinking, that one team, it's always Alabama. And, producing, even though we get talents and recruits from all over the nation, we base our players, hometown players, whether it be in Montgomery, Mobile, Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Troy, Eufaula, Hoover, stuff like that. We really produce good style football players. And that's one thing we know down here is good football.
Yeah, I mean, just think about it. Just some of the big Alabama greats are from Alabama. Julio Jones is one of them. Auburn quarterback Bo Nix is from Alabama. So just all the schools here just kind of pick from their own home state, and it's easy to get homegrown talent when people don't want to leave out of state. But it's kind of really special for us to be covering Montgomery football and looking around and seeing, man, there's a lot of really cool talent out here that we can cover.
That's a lot, man. That really says a lot, and it's really good for the community and the players and fans, because you see your homeboy, your friends out there, getting offers, producing and stuff like that, and getting recognized by these big name schools that you only see on TV, and you're like, man, one day I wish I could, go to at least a game. And now your homie's getting recruited by him, saying, why don't you come play for us? It's good to see that, especially for the community and stuff and all that's going on right now. We love to see positivity like that.
And something we want to do is be able to spread the positivity. Don't get me wrong, we love covering these big names. We love looking at these teams that are just completely stout up and down the field. But one thing we kind of want to do going into the future is kind of highlight some of these players that aren't getting looked at a lot. Now, we don't necessarily know who those players are because we're the type of people that's not looking at them as well. So we might be going to some smaller games here in the future just to be able to highlight some talent that's not being seen, because something we've noticed through this football season is there's a lot of talent out there that's not being seen as much as others. Maybe it's being overshadowed, and I can't necessarily think of a name right off the top of my head, but it's definitely out there. And we say that a lot on the sideline, like, man, I wonder if he's getting any recruits. And then we get home and we're looking them up, and there's not.
Nothing.
And there's nothing. I feel like there's a lot of talent like that, especially in some smaller towns here in the South.
Yeah, just like, you know, the recruiting, you get a certain amount of stars, whether you get 2 stars, 3 stars, 4 stars, stuff like that, and that's how they base the recruit numbers off of, whether it be yards or, you know, touchdowns and this, that, and the third, or reps. I like that, but then on top of that, not everybody gets scattered like that, because they're only going to give those type of numbers and recruiting luxuries to big name schools that have the money to pay for that stuff. And, you know, not everybody's school has, you know, the type of luxury, and not everybody's, you know, gifted with that amount of, you know, access to cameras, scouts, and stuff like that. And not all the scouts want to go deep and search that much, but for those that do have the passion to go look for those players and scout in those small city schools, we appreciate that.
So it's also a big thing that since Montgomery is a hot spot for recruiting, and you know, colleges are sending scouts here to see, they're going to see some other surrounding counties and cities, some other teams that are also doing really, really good, like Stanhope Elmore. I think Stanhope Elmore has one of the best linebackers in the state in William Whitlow. Prattville, it's got Ian Jackson, of course. He's a commit to Alabama. Those are just 2 right off the top of my head that I can think of. Holtville probably has a lot that we're looking to cover a Holtville game. Of course, we're very busy. We have very busy schedules.
It's 6 in the morning, we're out here.
It's 6 in the morning. We're out here trying to get the film in. So, but 2 games we are looking forward to seeing are Hooper Academy next week. Going to especially go out to that one. And then another one is Prattville versus Stanhope Elmore. No? Prattville versus
Wetumpka.
Prattville versus Wetumpka. That's it. That's the one. And then Pike Grove versus Charles Henderson. That's a big one that we're excited about.
Definitely catch us on the sideline for that one. Fans show up. Please social distance, though.
Yeah.
But we say this, but like when we get to the games, especially when we went to the Prattville Stanhope Elmore one, they were packed in there like sardines. Yeah. Please social distance. Wear your mask, too. Don't have them on your chin. Don't do that.
Yeah, wear a mask. Practice social distancing. Be safe. But getting back to the football game, Pike Road versus Charles Henderson, that's now their senior night, since their original senior night was canceled, and I'm super excited about that one. Pike Road has a really tremendous football team this year.
Yes.
Their offense is explosive. Their defense gets them the ball and can score on their own even when they want to. But, man, that offense is explosive.
Yeah, and when the star wide receivers, Blake Durham, they throw him the ball, he's going to go up there, whether 50-50 ball, long stride, speed contest, he's going to beat you either way. Shout out to Blake Durham.
And Iverson Hooks, their quarterback, he's doing a tremendous job spreading the wealth. And then, of course, their running back, Quinshon Judkins, is just able to finish. And they do that interesting running play where they direct snap it to the running back instead of having the quarterback hand it off to him. Now, I think the logic is just he gets the ball quicker and he can hit the hole faster. And it's really worked for him. And we saw him score 2 touchdowns just in the half that we were there against Carroll that one game. And it really worked for him.
That's when, you know, that shows that you have tremendous trust in your offensive line. And that's how your running back gets so many yards. You know, everybody wants to highlight the running back, you know, and as they should, because running backs are just that good. But, you know, I like to look at, you know, okay, so how did he get this many yards? What did he do? And then also, what did his offensive line do? And you can't put up, you know, 1,000 rushing yards, 2,000 rushing yards, have a 200 rushing yard game without having a tremendous offensive line.
Yeah, we've seen some nice offensive line play out of a lot of teams, especially this year. You know, that's another thing we want to start highlighting is being able to not just look at the skill positions, but the defensive linemen, the offensive linemen, some of those players that are just, you know, really doing their job to opening up for other players that aren't getting a lot of highlights thrown at them. So that's another thing we're going to start trying to do for Football Weekly 5. So that's something coming y'all's way. I know it's a short show today, but like I said, we are high school students. We're busy. We work. We got other sports to do ourselves. But that's it for Football Weekly Week 4. I'm Joseph Sims.
I'm Isaiah Wilson.
Peace.